You could just close that for a second. You're not gonna use that yet. Internet's completely down. I'm hoping some of you have cell phones that maybe have data. I don't know. But the internet's completely down. Which means I wasn't able to print out anything for you. Wasn't able to print out new grades, but grades on Q are updated if you want to see. I am going to try to show you these last two problems here, and we'll try to figure out what to do. Hopefully the internet will start coming back. If you have cell phones, if you could put those away for me. Grades are updated on Q, but I wasn't able to print out grades because of the internet outage. So you have to log on and look on Q online if you need to see. Hopefully someone in your row's got a working cell phone that has some data on it. Because I think our Wi-Fi is completely down. We'll figure it out. Is what it is. What's up? Probably, yes. I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. How's it going, boys? I'm good. How's it going, lady?
I sent you an email this morning about Friday.
Okay.
I won't be here.
Okay, sounds good.
But I'm going to try to be on the Zoom.
All right, sounds good.
Morning.
How are you? Yeah. So far the internet's completely down. To have my class work here today, I'm hoping someone in your row's got a cell phone that's got some data on it. I'm not sure. It's kind of a fiasco today, of course. Grades are updated on Q, but I wasn't able to even print out anything. The printers, which are all hooked up to the network, are completely down too. So unfortunately, I don't have anything really on paper to give you, but I'm going to try to show you the last two problems on the benchmark, and we'll go from there. I wanted to have you do a flip grid as a row like I did on Friday for my periods. We'll see if that will work. I don't know. I don't know if it'll work. Glad you people are here in person because all the Zoomers. I was going to use a hotspot on my phone. I was like, screw that. I'm not going to waste my hotspot. All right, here we go. Jesus is here. Karina. Cynthia's row is good. Abraham's row. Missing Alexis. Caleb's row is good. Catalina's row is good. Taylor's row is good. All right, well, let's go and get started. Your time is precious. Final schedule. This is important to me for you to know. The schedule for the last 2 weeks of school. I do have this on paper if you want to take a picture of it, or I'll put this on the Google Slides too. But you can see, we have this week right here that we're in. And then we have this week right here. The final for you guys is going to be on this day right here, Monday, the 7th of June. I'm hoping that you could get completely done. So when we meet again on this day right here, we could bask in the glory of the grade that you earn. We could watch the movie and relax. What you don't want to be is this person, the person that takes the test on this day and then looks and sees the score and Q. And then on this day, all of a sudden, out of the blue, all this makeup work just comes, all of a sudden appears. Whoa. So you need to know, and I'm probably going to try to say this at least 5 times, because I know I have lawyers in my room, and if I don't, they're going to lawyer on me. But the last day to turn in work is before you take this final. I will not accept any work after you've started and taken the final. I will not accept any work after you've taken the final. What happens is people take the final, see their grade, and then they realize, oh, I should have turned in work. Don't have that happen to you. That is a crushing blow. Don't say I'm not warning you. I'm warning you now. I'm warning you in front of all these witnesses. The last day to turn in work is this day before you take the final. This day right here is primarily for us to look at your grade. There's going to be people who, they're like, oh, what can I do? And I'm going to say, man, I wish you should have done better on the test. So again, for me to not have you listen to my smartass response, do get on the test, because there's going to be a bunch of people on movie day just going to be pleading with me, Marshall, what? And I'm going to go, man, I wish you would have done better on the test. Maybe invent a time machine from this moment, do better on the test. So when we meet, we celebrate your glory. Because there's going to be people on this day, I'm telling you, instead of relaxing and watching the movie, they're going to be pouting and crying and upsetting. And I'm going to say, I wish you did better on the test. You should have done better on the test. You should have turned in makeup work before the test. You should have realized that your grade could be 100% going into the final. It's up to you to have your grade be 100% going into the final. That's all on you. Question? So you'll be on this, of course, I always have this cushion day. You'll take it on the cushion day. Well, what I'll probably have in queue, probably during this week, I'll have the assignment in there. And if you're curious, if there's time at the end of class or lunch or break, I could punch in numbers in there and show you what this score would do or what that score would do. Happy to always run numbers with you on that. But I won't really know that until this final week, probably this last meeting right here. God, it's so messed up. For me to start crunching numbers. I'll be happy to do that for you. But I'm going to make it have a big impact on your grade for sure. And then be thinking that people with low grades, if you do good on the district benchmark, that makes me look super good. Your grade is going to shoot way up. But conversely, students who they look on Q who have a good grade, who choke on the benchmark, they wonder what the heck I'm doing. If that happened, you're making me look bad, your grade's going to go down. So if I was you, get everything made up before the test day so your grade's 100%. So you have leeway not to have to ace the test. And then if you get to that point, I guarantee you'll be so ready for the test, you'll ace the test too. You'll probably end up with an A+. And then third quarter, won't even care what you got third quarter. I'll give you an A+ for a semester. And then I know you had a question. There is a makeup that quiz that we did, the midterm quiz that some of you, it hurt you. There were some people who've taken the chance to make that up and have their grade gone up. So what I'm going to do for that, if you're still not happy with that midterm quiz, or maybe you're still in the process of making it up, what I'm going to do, since I have the full final exam and I'm going to show you all of it, I'm going to make another quiz that's more exactly in tune with the final and let you take that. And if you get a good score on that, I'll replace that midterm quiz score with that better score. Or if you do worse, I'll leave that old score. Does that make sense? But some of you making up that midterm quiz, some of those problems aren't exactly on the final. So I'd rather you just focus purely on final exam problems. So I'm hoping by tomorrow, I'll have that for you. And the benefit of that is it's easier than that midterm quiz. The one I'm going to have you do for the benchmark, it's easier. So some of you will be able to ace that and have a good grade going into the final. I know I've been talking a lot, but any questions for me? I'm recording this for Zoomers or whoever. All right, today I'm going to try to show you the last problems. I'm going to hope that someone in your row has a phone that you could flip grid the problem I want you to do as a row. But here we go. Let me show you the last two problems, because I've given you every problem so far. Is this one talking about rotations? And then this one talking about saving money, and they look harder than they really are. In my little spiel here, I'm just going to try to show you that for these rotations, if it lets me. I can take a picture of this. All right. So the first problem here is dealing with, they're giving you the first one, and they're going to have you do a quick little reflection, either over the y-axis or either over the x-axis. And then from there, they're going to have you do either a 90-degree rotation or a 180-degree rotation and pick the right choices. But I want you to see that on this, when you flip it around, a rotation, a quarter turn, hopefully this shows, you'll see, look at that red triangle. If I do a quarter turn clockwise, look where it ends up, hopefully. If it lets me. It lets me get fancy. There it is. So if I go quarter turn to the right, clockwise, right there. So you can see a quarter turn after you've done a flip ends up in the quadrant right below it. If I did a quarter turn after I flipped over the x-axis, but I spin counterclockwise, you'll see that's getting to the spot that you want. And then on this problem, I'm going to show you that none of these 180-degree choices work, because if I took this triangle and flipped it and then rotated it past 90, 180, it ends up over here. So I'm going to try to illustrate to you this problem right here, the flip, and then which one works for the rotation. And then this one over here, the one where I give you, they're trying to save money. This person's kind of a confusing way of doing it, but I'm just having you take how much they're saving per week and write a little simple equation. For Carmen, a little harder. You're having to find her rate of change. But once you get these little simple of equations, you're just plugging in the numbers that they give you on this table right here. I know a lot of you, it's Monday morning and probably stopped listening a while ago, but something out here on these last two, something picking your interest or show me that you're alive for extra credit, something I talked about, anything up here? Can you just take out a piece of paper? Hopefully you got paper. I don't have paper for you really, other than this. So if you don't have paper, you could grab one of these, but I don't have printouts for you because the internet's down. So what I'm going to do here today, before I go over the example, because really you don't really have questions until you really try to do it. So before I even go over my example, based on what I've shown you here, I'm going to have you try the example one on your own, and then maybe you really will have questions for me, because people looking up here, it looks like, you got that dazed look, like a deer in the headlights kind of look. All right, so before I even show you, how about on your paper, just put your name on there. And then for this question, maybe just try it. And if you think you know these answers before I even show you the example, show me. And if for sure you'll have top 3 status, you'll be, well, first person will be president, of course. Probably be a lady president, because you can see a lot of you guys need that lady leadership. You need to be led by a lady. So before I even show you this, try it. So when I go back to that first example, maybe you'll have real questions for me, because you really don't have questions until you try it. You don't have to draw any of this. Just maybe for the first problem, tell me if it's A, B, C, or D. And then for the second problem here, for these problems here, like we'll say maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me true or false. Just try it. And if you get it right, make you president. And then maybe before I show you this, for you trying it, maybe you'll have some actual questions for me. I don't know. Give it a try. Really, before I show you this, try to get some questions out of you. Try it. If no one still asks questions, I'll just go back to the example I'll show you, and then I'll show you. Don't have to draw any of it. All right, for extra credit, how about this? Anything already confusing you about this problem, can I explain it? You have a question for extra credit. Can I give you extra credit? Avian. Because the x-axis and the y-axis tells you which line you're going to be doing the reflection over first, and then doing either the quarter turn or the half turn rotation. So they're going to tell you, is it flipping over the y-axis? And again, you got to make sure when they say y-axis that you realize that's this line. So that would be a flip over here first, and then look at the rotation degree, actually angle the direction. But yeah, the y-axis, it matters. Because if they say reflect over y, and you by mistake are thinking maybe you started by doing over this line, then you made a mistake. So yeah, the x, y, that matters. Good question, Avian. Like, Avian, you're potential president. Got a room full of stiffs today. You're the only one alive so far. All right, can you stand up? Let's do force questions. Screw this. I'm over it. Stand up. You ask a question, I'll let you sit down. Stand up, everybody. Stand up. I'm over it. Let's do it. You ask a question, I'll let you sit down. You show me you're alive, I'll let you sit down. If you want to stand up all period, I'll stand up with you all period. Question out there, anything? Yes, sir. I got this 10x because the slope or Karman or amount Karman's making each week, I get by dividing the change in the y data by the change in the x data, and that gives me rise over run. That gives me the slope of Karman, that much he's saving each week. Good job. Have a seat. Yes, ma'am.
How do you know which one's a triangle for rotate? Like, which one do you rotate?
Well, you need to know that these choices, they're all telling you to take that original. This is the original right here because it has just the original letters. And they're having you reflect this first. And then from that reflected spot, you're either doing a quarter turn or a half turn rotation. So you're always starting from here. And if they tell you to flip over X, you go to here first. And then, is it quarter turn clockwise? Quarter turn counterclockwise? Turn 180? That's what they're having you do after you've reflected it first. Have a seat. Good question. I think the lady right there in front of her had her hand up.
What is the last statement here?
This last one here? For a Karman and Mia? Because if for 10 weeks, if I plug in 10 weeks into Karman's equation, which is 10x, 10 times 10 gives me 100. And then if I plug in 10 into Mia's equation, gives me 150. So that, since I plugged in and gave me true statements, that made that a true. If I would have plugged that in for Karman and got 100, and then plugged in 10 into Mia's equation and got like 200, then I would have said false right there. Good job. Have a seat. All right, let's go right to left like a wave. Paloma.
Why does for the location one, why does it reflecting about y-axis and then why doesn't that work?
For the second one? Because if you look, if I flip over the y-axis first, it goes to here. But then if I do a 180 degree turn counterclockwise, which is this direction, it will end up right here, end up across from each other. It ends up, that's 90, 180 ends up right here. So if you're doing these 180 turns, none of these 180 turn choices work because after you've done the initial reflect, it's going to take a quarter turn to get to what they really want you to be. None of these 180-degree turns for this problem, the way it's set up, are going to work for this one. Have a seat. Good job. Question? No, well, from here to here is a reflection. But then to get from here to the blue, it's not a reflection. From red to the blue, it's a rotation. From here, it's a reflection. So really, this is matching this A choice. Reflect over the y-axis first, tick. Then from there, rotate 90 degrees, which is a quarter turn, clockwise, which is on the hands of a clock to the right. So that's what popped it right there. That's why this choice worked right there. So it was a reflection and then a rotation. It was not a double reflection for sure. Have a seat. Yes, ma'am. Well, on this, they're not going to have any of that. They're just going to have this and this. I'm not sure really what you're asking there. Oh, you can have a seat. That's worthy of having a seat. Yeah. Mia, it's as simple as taking her equation, which is counting down from the amount she's owing, and just taking this. This represents how much she's saving each week, too. So what I do, instead of making it where one model is going down to get how many days to get 200, I just have you take the rate of change. This is her rate of change, how much. So I just have you make it a direct equation right here. So if this was minus 12, the 12 right here. So both these make it nice and easy because they're both positive here. So if you plug in one week, 10 bucks you save. 1 week right here, 15 bucks you save. I don't like this equation, lady, because for this one, if I tell you how much did she save after 1 week, they plug in 1 right here and get 15, and subtract 200 minus 15 and get like 185. And like, she saved 185. I'm like, no, she only saved 15 after. So I don't like that equation right there because it blows people away. But you could take that rate of change and use it always. Good question. Have a seat. Yeah. Yes, that 20 weeks is the X number that you're plugging into her equation. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Well, this one says Mia saves 210 weeks. If I plug in 10 for X into the equation that truly shows how much Mia's saving each week, it gives me 150. And since that doesn't match this 200 number, that's why I said false right there. But the second one, for Carmen, when I plugged in 20 into Carmen's equation, it did give me 200, so that one I put yes or true. Good job. Have a seat. Yes, sir.
So the left side, the problem with the one with the harder would be able to rotate
Well, what I'll probably do to increase your knowledge is I'll probably make up problems to practice that, a 180-degree turn will give you to the spot where you're going to. Or we'll talk about the one that no one really talks about, not the 90 or the 180, but the 3/4 of a turn one. And now we really want to talk about the coordinates too, because they really want you to know what's happening with the coordinates. This coordinate right here, -3, 7, when you flip over the y-axis, the 3 becomes positive 3, 7. And then when you rotate that to the right, that 3, 7 becomes 7, and the right one opposite 7, -3. So I'm really going to be focusing on the coordinates really in detail because that's what they really want you to know. But for my test takers, I just want to know that you're moving here, quarter turn clockwise or quarter turn counterclockwise. Good job. Yeah, come on. This one? Carmen's saving more money? Yeah, that one's false because the Carmen's rate is only $10 per week and Mia's is only 15, so that's false. If Carmen would have been like 20, and then that would have been true. Good, super good job. Good question. And then the next one here, leading the Kamani's here. If these numbers would have been the same, then I would have said true. Good job, Kamani. Yes, sir.
For the left side, how do you know which triangle is for reflective of the y-axis?
They always just give you this one first. So if you look at the blank example here, this is the one they give you first, and you could tell because the letters are plain, and they're trying to get to here, and you could tell this is after 2 movements because these marks right here, they really should be double marks because it's after 2 transformations, but I'm making it just like the final. They just have 1 mark. But yeah, this is always the original. Good job. Giovanna, got something? Yeah. Because your rise over run for this situation represents like after 1 week how much money you've saved. So for your data here, when you crunch it down, this 10 over 1 just represents after 1 week you've saved $10. It's kind of weird. If I had a graph for 1 week, $10, 2 weeks, $20. So yeah, the run is how many weeks. The rise is your number of dollars. Good question. Yeah. By this rate of change number right here. So whatever that number is right there, minus 12, 12x. This is minus 10, 10x. Minus 5, 5x for Mia. Good question. Yeah.
And then how do you get 10 up for Carmen?
By taking Carmen's data and determine the change in the y over the change in the x. And again, I could have used any pair in this data table. I could have used the 100 minus 60 as long as I divided that by 12 minus 8. I could have even used this pair. I could have used 140 minus 20 as long as I did it divided by 16 over 4. Again, you use the data for these representing the y numbers, x numbers to get your change in y over your change. That's rise, that's run. Good job. Have a seat. Yes, ma'am.
Say you reflected over the y-axis. Could someone put like a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation? Like, is that a possibility?
To get to here?
Just in general. Like,
Well, that probably wouldn't work because if you did a flip over the y-axis right here and then did a quarter turn and counterclockwise, it would end up right back here. So that, I'd probably say no because it would be this original, then this blue one would be like all backwards right here. People would probably trip out if I did that. So that's a good question, but I would say no.
For the second one, for problems like that, would y always equal a rate of change?
The slope is always the rate of change. The slope as a whole unit, the rise over run represents the rate of change. What was your question again?
So it would always equal a rate of change.
Yeah, slope is always rate of change. Yeah.
For the first one, how did I was conflicted between A and C, and I didn't know you could pick more than 2. So is it always like that, where you can pick more than 1?
Yeah, because you can see the wording. This is right off the benchmark exactly. It says which transformations. But they might even try to be even more tricky and say which transformations and have someone looking for more than 2 answers or more than 1. But they might be real evil. And out of all these, only have real 1 choice word.
Okay.
So be aware of that. You guys hear me on that one? You guys listening to me on that one? That's so, I don't know what. Transformations, and then on test they only 1 word. Why do they do that? Yeah. You're talking this one right here? Or this one? Because this is saying I'm trying to show, to see if Carmen really did make in 20 weeks $200. And I did that by taking her equation, which represents how much she's making every week, and plugging in 20 weeks for X right there. And that's why times got the 200 right there. Good job. Have a seat. All right. Those are great questions. I would have wished you would have asked them earlier. For this one right here, which I'm going to show you, and then I'm just going to have you as a row. I'll tell you, you're either going to do the A problem or the B problem. We're going to see how this works out because I don't know with the internet down. I don't know. But this one right here, what I was trying to give you on paper, I'm sorry you don't have it on paper. But this one, you can see, I think for this problem, if you flip this over the y-axis, ends up being right here. And then I can see right here, this is going to be, to get to here, it's going to be a quarter turn, but it's got to be to the left. And hopefully you know the hands of a clock, like this is 12 o'clock, this is 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. If I'm going from here to here, that is a 90-degree counterclockwise, the counter of the way the clock goes. So I can't choose this right here because it says flip it and then go clockwise, which would be over here. So that one, down the drain. You see that? If I do any of these 180-degree turns, and you're here with me in person, none of these 180-degree ones are going to work, I promise you. Because if you flip over the Y and do 180, whether I go counterclockwise or clockwise, they end up in the same place. So 180, none of these 180 ones are going to work. Maybe for some of the quizzes I might give you to try to practice, I'll try to make it. But on test day, none of the 180 ones work. So you're down to this guy right here. And it says 90 degrees. Flip it across the x-axis first, which should look something like this. Whoops. If I do know how to reflect, which would be like this. Is that right? So if I do that one, it looks like a quarter turn to the left. Yeah, so that won't work. If I would have flipped it across the X, but then this said clockwise, that would have been false. Does that make sense? Not too bad, right? All right, this one over here. For those of you listening, all you need to do is get the equation for Mia and get the equation for Carmen and then use them. So for Mia's equation, like I was talking to Aram about when you had a good question, all I need to do is take this number right here and write that in front of X. But notice it's positive. This model is showing that if you start at 100 and whittle $5 a week, how much left you have to save. But I don't really like that model very much because it confuses people. I like the direct variation model where after 1 week, you know exactly how much you save. You don't have to be smart like you are and say after 1 week, that $95 represents how much left I have to save. I don't like that. I like just how much you save after 1 week. And then for Carmen, like I've been trying to show you, you got to find your change in X over your change in Y. This is going down by 20 right here. All of these should be going down by 20. This chunk right here going down by 2. If I divide those out, that gives me Carmen's rate of change. So that one I set it to be 10. So you can see for Carmen, her equation is 10x. Let's stop right there. Anything so far about this? This is really the last problem I will ever teach you ever the rest of your life. This is it. Yeah. No. It's always going to be positive. Whatever that number is, made positive. The absolute value of whatever that number is. That's what we're using. Carmen, if you do the math right, is also always going to have a positive number here too. Unless, of course, you divide 20 by -2 and get -10 by mistake or something. Yeah?
Anything based on the first one?
All right, which part?
The counterclockwise part.
For C?
Yeah. If it was counterclockwise, wouldn't it go to 6 to 3? Not 3.
So let's see, did I make a mistake here? So if I reflect over the x-axis first, and if I go counter, so that should be false too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good job. Yep, that one's false. Yeah, if I reflect over the x, And went counterclockwise, that would have really went up here. Also, yeah, that one had no correct choices. Did you guys let that slide? Anyone else see that? Always, whatever I teach, take with a grain of salt. I'm human. I make mistakes. Always, whatever I teach. Marshall. Yeah. No. No. There's going to be one answer that works on test, I promise. Even though it says how many transformations, still going to be just one, and people are going to be faked out by that. Yeah.
Just to make sure I understand. The negative 20 are those cycle running, not came from the negative 20 going down, and then the negative 2 came back.
Yes, sir. So if this on test day would have been 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, I would have divided that negative 20 by the change by 4, by negative 4. Does that make sense? All right, good question. And then now that you have those equations, you use those equations to answer these questions. Mia, in 20 weeks, how much will she save? That's me taking this 20 right here and plugging in to X into Mia's equation. For Carmen, I take that $8 and plug into X into Carmen's equation. You can't tell me that math is over your head, no way. So when I plug in 20 to 5X right there, 20 times 5, that should give me 100 here, and I'll just do the work on the side. So make sure you're using Mia's equation to plug in that 20. Don't plug in 20 into Carmen's yet. So I can see that gave me 100. So that would be true for this setup. And then Carmen's I had set up, I think, to be false. If I plug in that same number of wheels, nope, not 8 or not 20, plug in 8, gives me 80. So the way I have this set up, that one's false for Carmen. And then Carmen will save more for this one because Carmen has a bigger rate of change. That's true. Carmen, Mia have the same amount. They would both have to be either 5ers or both 10ers because they're different. They're saving different amounts each week. And then the last one where you got to do actually a double plug-in, but you got to read carefully. It doesn't say Mia first. It says Carmen first. So Carmen, 10 weeks. If I plug in 10 into Carmen's equation, whoops, I don't know what I'm doing there. So that one worked, but this one has to work for both to be true. So if I do Mia in 10 weeks, if I plug in, oh yeah, that one looked like they both worked for that one. If one of them would have not worked, there's no way I could say true. That has to both be money for that one to be true. All right, let me stop right there. That is the last problem. I will teach you really for the rest of your life. From here on out, it's me just figuring out ways to get you to practice and realize that you guys are smart enough to get this right. Okay, what I'd like you to do, per row, let's see how this works. Yes, ma'am? No, nothing's working, except for my students' brains and my Starboard. All right, so I know you're not going to be able to really use your chromies here. Let me try to get hooked up to my hotspot real fast so I can show you. All right, so I'm hoping someone has a cell phone that works, that's hooked up to data, because you're not going to be able to use Wi-Fi, that has the Google Slide app on their phone, because I want you to get to this problem right here. If you're an odd group, you're doing the A problem. If you're an even row, you're going to be doing the B problem right here. What I'd like you to do is try to get that open on your phone, if someone's got a good phone, and click on that link from the slides. If you click on that link from the slides themselves, you won't need any password or nothing like that. You'll be able to see some of the responses from last week, from Friday. They just got introduced this Carmen Mia problem. They didn't get the other problem that you're doing too. But I want you to use this to upload the people in your row explaining either the A problem or the B problem. And on Flipgrid, when you're recording, since you don't really have this on paper, I think you could do options where you could record your screen. So if you have someone with a good Flipgrid or the good phone, maybe you could open up that slide and then be able to Flipgrid your voices. I don't know. We'll see how it works. You're welcome to step outside the room. Anywhere you want to go, you're welcome to go. I'm going to have the A row or the even rows do A and the odd rows. Wait, how did I say that? Odd rows A. So you're doing A problem, A problem, A problem, and then the even rows do the B problem, B problem, B problem, B problem. You're welcome to step outside. You're welcome to Flipgrid inside. I'm hoping by about 15 minutes left in the period, I'll be able to open this up and we'll be able to watch some of your responses. All right, good luck. I'll give you about 20 minutes before we start looking at them. And then I don't know if this is even going to work. I don't know. I don't know if you have even someone in your row with a cell phone. I don't know. This is all kind of new to me because the internet's completely down.
We record it on the slide, or we record it?
You're going to explain, what row are you? So you're going to try to explain this B problem on slide 108. Whatever I wanted to have it on a piece of paper, of course, so you could just, but the printer wasn't working. You could do whatever you want. Oh, so I gotta finish the B problem here. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's on the slides. Looks like I forgot to finish the B problem here, so let me do that. Yeah, this, hold on, let me put the, all right, what row are you?
Sorry, 100.
So you're doing slide, it should be on slide 107. Whatever you need to do, take a picture. Yeah, yeah. Is the pass over there? Just bring that wood pass over. This one right here.
Which one is it? Is it this?
You're doing A or B? What row are you?
Oh, it's the 400. I thought it was a different slide. Never mind. I got it.
I made a little change on it though. Happy to help you with the problem itself. Is that the one?
No, yeah, I got it. I was just confused on what side.
Okay. And then if you should be able to get to the Flipgrid link from that slide too. If you go to present mode, or you got to present that to show that. Let me see if it works. Should have it in here somewhere. What slide number was it on there?
It was the second to last one.
So you're A or B?
B.
So you're even row?
Yeah.
So 108. Ooh, you know what? The Flipgrid link is not on there. Put it on there. I think on mine, I gotta hit this button to show it. Present on this device.
Mine's just loading.
And then when it loads, it should let you activate that Flipgrid link from there.
Okay.
Should. There it goes.
Alright, thanks.
There you go. Help anyone in here with the math or anything? Hey, can I help anyone in any way with the math or technology? Math? Can I help anyone with the math itself or the technology? It's all yours. It's all the way at the end of the slides. I think it's like 107, 108. And then to activate the Flipgrid, I had to present it on my device before the Flipgrid link was active on that. All right, well, let me know. I'll be walking around.
Just again, let me know how I could help you in any way. Happy to. Let me know how I could help you in any way, okay?
So let me know how I could help you in any way. Happy to help you with the math. Happy to help you with the device. So are you ladies doing the A or the B problem? A. So I think if I reflect across the Y and go clockwise, that one should be money, right? So A should be good. None of the 180 ones. And then the only other choice, if I go across X right here, and then if I go clockwise, it would really end up back here. So I think C is down the drain too, because C doesn't work either. So I think for that choice, lady, only A is the only one that works. And you could say something as easy as A is the only one that after the reflection rotated to the correct spot.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ladies. Happy to help you with the math itself, what to say. You guys okay? Can I help you? Ah, this thing got thrashed. Look at that.
I don't know, what I even have.
Someone came last night and analyzed it. I mean, they had to have a sledgehammer to do that. Gee. I think they would have better things to do with their time. Good morning, Miss Lindowski. Help you with the math? That's good. Look at this chalk festival.
Doesn't it feel kind of like normal?
It does. I like it.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. It's such a beautiful day. I have. It's been referee season. I've been reffing nonstop every day. Just running. I'm not a runner. Just running every day.
Oh, you've been running?
Well, no, because
Just
reffing.
refereeing, you mean?
Because club season and high school season started all at once. So like we had games every day. It was hectic.
And if she did two sports, she was still doing volleyball and they were all running together. So
Yeah.
It's so
There's an article in the Times about a kid down Miracosta High School who played varsity football, lacrosse, and soccer all at the same time. Like he has lacrosse and soccer playoffs going at the same exact time.
well,
But he's happy. He's like
yeah.
over the moon. Couldn't be any happier. Like old school days.
And it depends on the coach too, right?
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, if you got a game, you got to go. You know? There's people that are like, no, you need to stay for my practice over your game.
Yeah. I had some understanding coaches down there, Miracosta.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh yeah, we reffed Harvard Westlake High School, which is in the
you're doing high school stuff?
yeah, which is in the Division I finals for Southern California girls. It's
So
spectacular.
wait, the finals already went off?
No, they're playing this week, or
Okay.
that was to get to the final. So we ref their semifinal game at Harvard Westlake versus Santiago High School, and my center ref got upset with the away sideline and had the athletic director kick everyone off the sideline, like 500 people.
Wow. Harvard, it was the Harvard Westlake side?
No, it was Santiago.
It's Orange County School.
And then we had to get escorted to our car because they were waiting for us. It was heavy, dude.
Pretty wild.
Good time. Yeah.